Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds, and this is going to be one hell of a debate. I know there was a match, we'll probably touch on it, but the 24 hours in the Forest world, crazy. Let's get into it. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well and strap in, because if you think we argue at the best of times, this one's going to be tasty, because I have officially flip-flopped. We'll get into all of that in a second. As always, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And I know can we just all agree we were crap yesterday on the pitch? Is anyone in denial on that? Are we all in agreement? So Forest are crap. We're probably relegated, but there are bigger things to talk about. Okay, I'm joking on the relegation. I don't know, actually. But there's a lot to talk about. And I kind of just want to jump straight into this. We had the phone in yesterday, and there was a lot of interesting views. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if Sai's in the chat. He kind of swayed me. Slept on it, woke up this morning, and then the reaction of the mainstream media, that's what's kind of swayed me. You know, it's like, okay, screw them. What have we got to lose? Stick two fingers up to these pricks and let's pull the pin out the grenade and see what happens. But we're going to get into all the pluses and minuses of it. I'm going to kick off with you, Ez, because I think you're still against the tweet, if I'm right.
Yeah. And I'm glad you started it.
That looked a little weird.
I'm glad you started it the way you did, because I think it's only right. Although they're not mutually exclusive, I think we need to divide the team's performance and the corruption from the referees and all that. But let me start off with talking about the tweet, because I kind of got to back up what I said at the end of the last stream about how amateurish we've been at times over the last 2 years since we got into the Premier League, and how I think that Mr. Marinakis needs to have a serious overhaul of his advisors, his backroom team, whatever you want to call them, because I think some of the stuff we had done doesn't put us in a good light. And the tweet, my initial reaction was, they shouldn't have said that, because it came out straight away. As soon as the full-time whistle went, it's like they hadn't even thought about it, or they've been thinking about it and they just thought, right, we're going to do it anyway, let's just do it. By all accounts, it was supposed to be a lot worse than what we actually saw on Twitter or X, but I wasn't impressed with it. I wasn't happy with it. Obviously, everything that could have gone wrong or could have gone against us in that game did. 3 clear penalties. I would have said a 4th, you know, with handball rules, because if you have a look back at the save from Chris Wood's point-blank shot, the save then hits the defender on the arm. You know, if you watch that back, it hits him on the arm. So that you could add it as another penalty shot. But we've got nothing yesterday. And I've said corruption for a while, and some people have said, no, it's just ineptitude, and then we're not able to. No, it's corruption. It's corruption where money's involved. There's always going to be corruption. And there's no doubt the people that they had in the backroom team on the pitch, it was like the worst group of referees and 4th officials and VAR people they could have possibly picked for Forest. And maybe it sounds like sour grapes, but it sounds like sour grapes if you're looking at it from the outside. We've gone through the season, and I kind of agree with what you said earlier in your video, Wolfie, about this is probably the worst season I can remember in the Forest.
Yeah.
For so many reasons. The football's been appalling. The decisions on and off the pitch have been abysmal. You know, they've been, again, I'll say embarrassing, you know, and to be a Forest supporter and be able to try and back this up, they're not leaving us much of a leg to stand on. So I've said what I need to say. I want you guys to elaborate a bit more, but I wasn't happy with the tweet because I felt it was badly worded. And coming from Forest, after everything that's happened already in the build-up to it, we just look worse. And what Mark Clattenburg's role is, I said at the time, it's put a target on us, and I feel like that's what it's done. I don't see any benefit of bringing him in, but I'll hand over to you guys. I'm going to go off and pray, and I'll join you in about 5 minutes.
All right. And you weren't here for the last stream, so you and Rob. So I want to bring you boys in. I disagree with a lot of what Ez said, to be honest. I would have agreed with him yesterday, but not today. What's your stance on? We'll get onto the performance in a bit. We can't shirk off how crap we were, but let's just deal with the talking subject that is going on at the moment. Well, what was your stance on the tweet and everything that's happened since?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, when I first saw the tweet, I was like most people, really shocked. It would have been far worse had we not informed the PGMOL and the Premier League beforehand that we were concerned about the fact that an established Luton Town fan was the video assistant referee yesterday, or whenever it was. You know, I can ask a simple to people who say, well, that doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Let me ask them a question. Why will an English referee never referee England in the World Cup? Why will a Spanish referee never referee Spain or be in VAR in the World Cup? Why will a German, you get where I'm going? Why? They're impartial, aren't they? That's what the PGMOL is saying. It doesn't matter as a Luton fan, he's impartial. He probably is. But deep in his psyche, there's something there that he's more likely to give a decision against us than for us. And
on that point, I could see an argument back saying, okay, well, what about the football players? Should Brennan Johnson be allowed to play for Forest, for example, if he's a Forest fan?
Football players are paid by the club. Okay? Referees are not supposed to be paid by the club. So therefore, they don't have that vested interest in performing for that club. So somebody like Brennan playing for, who purports to be a Forest fan, playing for Tottenham, he's being paid by Tottenham to play for Tottenham. So therefore, he can put his allegiances aside. When you're a referee, you're paid by the PGMOL, MOL. You're not paid by he's not paid by Luton Town. So that's the difference. Allegedly. Okay? Now,
allegedly.
To reiterate what I'm saying, we don't have this rule in England where a fan of a club cannot referee that game or VAR that game. But I do believe that we have a rule that says if you're from that city, or so if you're from Nottingham, I don't think you'll ever see a Nottingham-born ref, although it might be a Man U fan.
That's why they have to declare
a
it.
Nottingham Forest game.
Yeah, that doesn't work because all the Man United fans are in London.
The point I'm making is that in every other aspect of football, you're not allowed to have a vested interest in the game that you're officiating. However, in our English Premier League, it seems that you are. And the fact that Forest pointed this out, I know for a fact that Liverpool have got at least one referee that's no longer allowed to referee Liverpool games because of bad decisions. So it's okay for Liverpool to say, no, we don't want him. But Forest, when they put it in, just ignored. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, unlike us, I don't believe in financial corruption. I get a little bit annoyed with you, Wolfie, and with Ed, people saying they're corrupt, they're taking bribes. I don't believe that.
Why?
At all. And what that does, I just don't. It's my belief. You do, I don't.
But there's evidence for it, and we've got evidence specifically to Forest. Sorry, go on, finish.
Let me just make my point. What I'm afraid is when people do that, it almost trivializes or belittles the situation, because you're saying, oh, he's been paid brown envelopes, all that lot. That's not actually getting to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is it's a boys' club. They all look after each other. Nobody, and I mean nobody, would deny that had those 3 penalties been given yesterday, they would not have been overturned. Now, there's something wrong there, because what they're saying is whatever the referee says, we're going to go along with. And yesterday, and also people will say, and I agree, we were shit yesterday, but had we got one of those penalties that can and scored it, that can literally alter the whole course of the game. Because all of a sudden, that team, i.e. Forest, have got confidence. The other team, Everton, will lose confidence. We've seen it time and time again. I mean, look at Man U yesterday, 3-0 up. Coventry get a goal all of a sudden. So it changes. Goals
and then corruption.
Goals change games. And I don't want us to... And it's something that needs to be sorted out. And it won't be sorted out if people just start saying it's brown envelopes. That will never get sorted out if that's all people have got to say. They've got to actually concentrate on what the problem is, and that is the boys' club, that is the PGMOL. What I have been really surprised about and very encouraged about is the amount of online support by other YouTubers Forest have got. Because they're saying somebody needs to say something. Liverpool did it, didn't they? With the terrible offside decision they had against Spurs. Yeah. They said exactly the same. We're looking at our options. Well, we all know there aren't really any options. But you've got to say something. You've got to say something. Otherwise, it'll just carry on the same. And Forest and Wolves, and I'm sure other clubs will tell you, they've been badly dealt with. And our problem is our situation is so dire that if we don't get a penalty, it could mean relegation. That's the difference. So that's where I'm at anyway. So I didn't agree with the tweet, but now I think, fuck it. What have we got to lose? Go for it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get some backing from other clubs and well, certainly we have from other fans, but hopefully we'll get some backing from other clubs as well.
So I'm with you there, but I got to challenge this corruption thing, right? I don't know how you can say there isn't corruption in the game, especially being a Forest fan, especially being a Forest fan of your generation. When all the BS happened with Anderlecht, what was the general reaction there? Were people saying corruption or bad refereeing? I don't know. Obviously, wasn't born, but what was the general vibe there when it happened? Was corruption straight up?
That's what we thought, because it was so obvious that it was deliberately that referee was against us. That it was a case of like nobody can be that bad. But of course, there was no proof at the time. It was only later when he died that the proof came out. But at the time, I mean, Brian Clough said straight away he's been paid off. Straight after the game, says that referee's been paid off.
But do you get my point now? Let me just finish this point. Do you get my point? Exactly what you just said there. I could say about yesterday's game with both that bold twat in the middle.
Taylor shit with everybody.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what you just said about it was blatantly obvious. He had something against Forest. I could say that. And the point I'm making is the evidence. What's the saying? The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Yeah. This stuff will come. I've been saying it for 20, 30 years about the likes of Man U, the brown envelopes.
I get why you feel that way. I just don't. Now, if it comes out that it has been, then obviously everything changes.
Yeah, but you just add two more points. Corruption is rife even back then and now. The Italian league, Juventus. Look at them. What happened? Yeah, Barca. I believe they're under investigation for corruption with referees. Yeah. So I've seen loads of things today and in the media. Oh, you can't say corruption. You can say corruption because there is an evidence of it.
Hold on. Yeah, but if it's not brown envelopes, then going down that line only actually I agree. Going down the wrong path.
But let me defend it. Let me defend that accusation, because corruption isn't just financial. Look at the definition.
I didn't say financial corruption, Ed. I did say financial corruption.
Yeah, but it's not just financial.
I believe there's corruption as regards favouring the top teams. I believe there's corruption as favouring
That's what I mean.
Sky Sports. But I don't believe it's like brown envelopes to referees saying, "Oh, don't give a penalty." I don't believe that. But that's
there's several things that but if you just look at the definition of corruption, it doesn't just mean financial; it means dishonesty.
That's why I specified it. Sorry to interrupt, but that's why
and they're being dishonest because if you watch, it happened at the end of last season. Nobody spoke about it. It's going to happen at the end of this season as well. We all get these summer trips to Dubai. Who pays for it? Who the fuck pays for it? Etihad and the people behind Man City pay for these referees to go out on these luxury trips to these they call them refereeing what's the word I'm looking for?
Brainwashing.
Training thing. Yeah. So they send them out on these all expenses paid trips and stuff like that. They're backhanders, full stop. There's no two ways to look at that. Otherwise, you shouldn't be allowed to accept that. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's a fault of the organisation allowing to. I mean, that wasn't done behind closed doors. It wasn't done on the site. It wasn't done on the table. It was out in the open.
When they're not working for the FA, in their spare time, they can do whatever they want. But it just
No. There's lots and lots of jobs where you still have to show alliance to that particular company or whatever.
Not necessarily.
When I was on this program, I couldn't go and do part-time work anywhere. You know what I mean? I wasn't allowed to go and do part-time work because I had to be, on the phone.
And that's the case here, Ant. So if Chris and Matt are watching from Forest all over, you can't borrow Ant, right? Is FFTV. Right. I want to come back to this debate, but I want to get Rob and Crypto's thoughts in early. We'll kind of do an opening gambit. Roberto, you also missed Friday. Was it Friday? It feels like a while ago because you were gallivanting in the cinema.
I went to see Civil War, which was crap. So I disrecommend that film.
Well, there's been Civil War on Forest
we were going to
timeline.
go watch it anyway.
Well, so Rob, I don't know.
Same question to you. Just before I get your stance on stuff, firstly, a massive shout out to Matt SB. Absolutely robbed. Robbed. What a performance from Coventry yesterday, man. I was screaming at it like it was a Forest match. I was so backing them.
Same here. We were all backing Coventry yesterday. But Matt, just put in the chat, C for corruption or N for not corruption.
And a lot of you are asking this. I saw Mark in the chat as well asking why Sky Sports and TalkSport saying we didn't inform them beforehand. So I'm asking the club about that. I still haven't had confirmation one way or the other. It feels to me like Forest did make them aware of it, told them that they believe he's a Luton fan. Now the story is, yes, Matt. Yes, brother Matt, man. Power to the people. Now, what did I say? Yeah, so we did make them aware of it, but apparently Forest weren't that bothered about it. So that's not from the Forest side. That was from that Daniel Taylor in the Athletic. That's then been reported out into TalkSport, Sky News, Sky Sports News, etc. I have asked the club.
Can I just say one more thing? I think it's very important.
Go on.
The media is in the pockets of Sky. Sorry, of
corruption. Then, Anne, corruption.
Let me finish. And
that's
the PGMOL, they have deals. Yeah, that kind of corruption. I agree.
So it does exist.
I've been saying brown envelopes. But let's move on. So they have an agreement, obviously, with the PGMOL to do their shows that they do. And I only think, because it's corruption, we don't know. I think they're told not to heavily criticise the referees or the PGMOL. Look at Carragher and Neville. Their attitude was so bad.
You see how they tried to shut Saha.
They were so on the side of the establishment as against the fans. It was unbelievable. Yeah,
it was so blatant what they were doing. And I can't listen to anything Carragher says anyway. But
I don't mind Carragher. It's Neville does it.
Mate, he can shut up. He can shut up forever. Any other footballer who did what he did would never have been on TV again. Especially if their skin was slightly darker. Trust me.
Spitgate, yeah. They'll be at the City Ground on Sunday. That should be a fun reception for them. All right, let's get to Rob. I'm dying to know what Rob's saying on this one, man. Did we speak after the? I can't remember. You chat a lot of crap, so I can't remember.
Spoke after the game.
Yeah, right, go on then, Rob. What are you saying?
It's 18 minutes in. I've been very good. Before I get accused of going on too long.
No, this may be an extended session. I'm not going to lie. By the time the arguments are finished. But if you want an extended session, sorry, Rob, just make sure you've hit that like button. And make sure you subscribe to FFTV. We've already got 700 of you in here across all the platforms. 113 likes. You guys can do way better than that. And if you want to support or have something urgent to say, just like Noah here with the 199, the legend that is Noah, he's saying, "Hi lads, see you next Sunday for another robbery." / corruption, Noah, or not?
Same place, Noah. Same place.
Looking forward. The boys are looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. All right, Rob, that's it. The floor's yours. We've built it. No, we haven't. One more. Nikki, love you, Nikki. Now sit down, Nikki.
Someone spends some money on us.
Yeah. Every time someone spends money, I'll interrupt you. Nikki, sit back down. Thank you for the 9 months. And here comes the Hitler speech. Go on, Rob. All yours.
Right. So there's three elements to discuss. There's the performance, the penalty decisions themselves, and the tweet. And it's quite difficult to separate them all, but you could almost do a podcast on each one, right?
Yeah.
Now, the performance was the worst since Brighton and quite possibly the worst since Fulham. And, we shouldn't hide from the fact of how bad it was. We did not deserve to get anything from that game. That said, teams are getting points they don't deserve all the time, particularly against us. I would have been quite happy to have a point we didn't deserve from a couple of penalties in that game. So why do we have to deserve the points that we get, right? So I just want to get that out of the way. We didn't deserve shit. We were really, really poor. Morgan Gibbs-White had a terrible game. And, well, I just thought I wasn't going to be able to get through it. In the first 10 minutes, we had about 6 corners against us. And I thought, here we go. It's going to be this all game. Then we started playing 5-a-side on the edge of a box and doing suicide balls. So it wasn't enjoyable even before the penalty decision started. Now, I've been harsh on this channel about some of the decisions, right? I said that Bolly shouldn't have gone in for that tackle when he was on a yellow. I said that Ryan Yates should have just got up and stopped making a meal about Maddison and the say punch, right? All 3 of those were clearly penalties. I watched Simon Jordan and Graham Souness earlier, and they were slamming the tweet and then the whole media management of the tweet. And then said, well, what about the penalties? Oh, yeah, all 3 were pens. Pretty much everybody except Gary Neville thinks that all 3 were penalties. All 3, right? Not just 1, but 3 in the same match. And that's why it's noteworthy, because we've been having this all the way through the season, but to get 3, a hat-trick in the same match was really quite outstanding. Now, in terms of the tweet, right, I would like to remind everybody that Evangelos Marinakis subsidised our club to the value of £67 million last year from his own pocket, right? If I had put in that kind of money to Forest, I can tell you my tweet would not have been so polite. He is entitled to say whatever the bloody hell he likes, right? We have tried official channels. We've tried writing to the PGMOL. We even tried appointing an ex-referee. What are they going to do to us that they haven't already done? Maybe they'll deduct some points from us. Maybe they'll fine us. Maybe they'll give us some more bad decisions. How can it possibly get worse? So I stand 100% behind the tweet. Twitter, formerly known as X, was made by a guy called Jack Dorsey, who said it was there to speak truth to power, right? And the FA and their referees are power, and Marinakis is speaking up to them. Totally support what he said, right? And I know it had swear words removed from it. I could write that tweet for you. And the only other thing I would say is, right, in every other walk of life, right, if you're a doctor and you do malpractice, you have to answer to the BMA, right? If you're a lawyer, you can get struck off, right? Even war criminals go to The Hague. The police have the Independent Office for Police Conduct. Premier League referees are totally unaccountable.
There's no accountability,
totally unaccountable. And yet, we're supposed to take it as read that they are above reproach, that they would never, ever bring their own sentiments into it. Bullshit, right? We should be able to hear the audio, and there should be a mechanism to complain about them and get them struck off. Because I'm trying to think, the only people in this world that are not accountable to anybody are Kim Jong-un, NHS receptionists, and Premier League referees, right?
Oh, leave receptionists alone, man.
They fuck us over again and again and again, and we can't do anything about it. And yet, if we even suggest that there's something going on, we're the ones in trouble. We get fined. It's all a load of crap. We know that players bet on games, right? Ivan Toney was banned for betting on games. Players are corrupt, right? But not referees. Don't even suggest it. Don't even suggest it. Well, you know what? They used to say that about the Catholic Church, right? So that's what I'm going to say on the matter. Of course they're fucking corrupt. And Nuno was spot on because he said with a very little wry smile, if this was in any other country, there'd be no question about it. Why are we supposed to imagine that our referees are some kind of saints, right?
This always pointed a finger at everybody else.
This situation where we're not allowed to question them, that relies on our consent, right? And we are allowed to withdraw that consent. And we have done that. We do not consent to this honor-based, trust-based system where they are above criticism. And there is a reason why referees have to declare who they support. It's so they can't officiate the games. So why does it make it okay for them to VAR the games? And that Atwell guy was on VAR when Liverpool got given the ball back after our attack and went up and scored. And he was also the one that gave Rashford a penalty for diving at Old Trafford. That was a soft penalty. Those that we had yesterday were
He
much
was also
stronger.
the one at the end of last season who didn't give us a penalty at Bournemouth. He was also the one then.
Yeah. Nearly cost us promotion.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've had.
Can I just say, Rob? I've just had a
100%
text from my friend in Australia.
100% behind the tweet.
Rob, I've just had a text from my friend in Australia, and he's upset that you've missed out the Australians to have a go at. You've had to go at everybody else.
I gotta say, Rob, like the amount of Rob for Prime Ministers in the chat right now.
Even the Prime Minister is accountable. Boris Johnson, right, had to go before the Privileges Committee or whatever it's called, or the Standards Committee. Everybody's accountable except Premier League referees. Why? Why? When they've got such a position of power.
Rob, I'm not sure.
Last season, when we had that terrible decision, I can't remember which one. We had so many. It might have been the bowler one. But anyway, the guy got sacked, basically. And then, but the next season, he's back in as a VAR.
Rob,
you sacked him for not being good enough to referee. And now you've brought him back in as VAR.
Right, let me just catch up with the super chats. And off the back of Rob's speech there, we would also like to officially announce that Rob has gone forward now for the seat in the council, and that was his opening speech. I'm joking.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd been a good opening speech. Yeah. Let's just catch up with the super chats quickly. Noah, thank you again for the 199. Apparently, our Ant was chatting shit about me. He chats shit about everyone, mate. He chats shit about shit.
What?
Now that was Ant without the beard. You must have got mixed at the game. I don't know.
He's making a joke about where we met him outside the stadium last week.
I can't remember yesterday.
No, that's true.
Yeah, no, I remember that, but I certainly wasn't talking.
It's something I said.
He was joking. There was a laughing emoji.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Now
yes,
you
I remember now. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
it's
believe
true.
it, Noah. You were
Noah.
there. You know that's not true. You were lurking.
He says, "Where's that little prick Noah?"
Hold on, let me just do these super chats from Sharky direct to Rob. Go, Mr. Rob. Loving the Rob speech there, the Rob rage. Thank you so much for the £2, Sharky. And DJ, thank you so much for the 20 months. We have 800 of you guys in here across all the platforms. So if you are new here, welcome to the Unfiltered channel where we talk what's on our mind. But we only have 167 likes. And on my mind now is about 250 likes. So get it done now so we don't have to keep interrupting the flow. It helps the algorithm. You guys all know the drill now. You've been on YouTube.
Crypto, do you want to set the target? Because it worked last time.
Yeah, let's go for 300. I think we got 275 last time.
Yeah.
And Lemmy's in there. Lemmy, man, respond to your WhatsApps, bro. Seriously, Lemmy, respond to your WhatsApps, bro. Thank you so much for the 16 pounds months. Appreciate it, bro.
It was 16 pounds, though.
16 pounds. Yeah, chucking 16 pounds, Lemmy, as well. All right, Crypto, you've been very quiet, unless you weren't quiet while I wasn't here, right? You've had an eventful 24 hours. Do you want to move this into the Collymore debate, or do you want to have your say on here, or you want to merge the two?
I'll merge the two. I have had a busy 24 hours. I've had to recharge my phone about 15 times because I've been beefing all the ex-Forest legends on Twitter. Who have now blocked me. But yeah, I mean, I'll kick off with a few points regarding the tweet. It's natural to react like that. I think actually they could have gone further and called Atwell out by name, because I think it's sickening that he was sat in that VAR booth yesterday. He hasn't been allowed to ref Luton games for the last 2 years, and there's a reason, and that's because he's a Luton fan. There's plenty of people who say it. There's Luton fans who say it. It's not something that's been made up. This is a factual statement. Him and his family. I mean, from what we've seen today, his family allegedly are season ticket holders.
That random guy on Twitter said it, Crypto, so it must be true.
If that random guy on Twitter says it, then I believe it more than Stan Collymmore's tweets. So, look, I'm not really with this conspiracy theory against the PGMOL, but I am 100% against Atwell. There's no valid reason why he should have not given those 3 penalties. I can understand that people make mistakes, but they were 100% stonewall penalties. The commentators were saying it. The pundits were saying it. Even people who slate Forest, people who hate Forest, like Jamie Carragher, who, maybe he should try spitting some facts instead of spitting at little girls. That might work out better for him. Look, Stuart Atwell should not have been in that booth yesterday, and Howard Webb should not have put him there. It's sickening. Can you imagine if, Man City are playing and they put a Liverpool ref in the VAR booth? It's the same thing. It shouldn't happen in this day and age when, every position in the league is massive amounts of money to the club. It's millions of pounds. I think each position goes up to £2 to £4 million. You've got the monetary value. You've got all of the fans who travel down, the fans who spend all that money to go and follow their team away. And you've got some absolute toss part in the VAR booth making decisions like that. It's sickening. It's pure corruption at its finest. It's pure corruption. Now, the Luton fans, who I'm going to go in on next, I've seen people saying,
popcorn.
Look, I've seen people saying, if he was doing it because he wants Luton to stay up, he would have tried to make us get a point each. That is absolute bollocks. Luton don't want anybody getting points above them. We are the next weakest team in the league. If we go and get one more point, bearing in mind we have better goal difference, that's an extra draw they have to get. There's only 3 games left or 4 games left. So that's an absolute rubbish.
But Crypto, sorry, mate. You're doing them a disservice. You're giving them the basic understanding that these dumbass Luton fans know how to count.
Well, they don't know how to count. They don't know how to count, and their VAR fans don't know how to make a correct decision. Why? I mean, Gary Neville came out and said Mark Clattenburg should resign. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Mark Clattenburg, but if anybody should resign, it's Stuart Atwell. Why should Mark Clattenburg resign? What did he do wrong yesterday? I almost feel like we've become a running joke, and the PGMOL are trying to almost get their own back for us bringing Clattenburg on board. And I said this when we started, and lots of people disagreed, but the PGMOL, which is stupidly hard to say, are not going to be happy.
LOL.
LOL. The LOL. They weren't happy that Clattenburg came on board. Everybody called it a joke. The pundits called it a joke. Yep. I think they're trying to get their own back. I think they're trying to make a point so that other clubs in future seasons don't do the same thing. I think they're trying to make a point. It's pure corruption. I don't know why all of these pundits are against us. I mean, I saw a video with Alan Shearer earlier, laughing and saying we're a fucking joke. He said really? Something like, I'm glad I'm not on the BBC so I can tell Forest are a fucking joke. I mean, it's sickening. It's sickening. All of these people are in on it. Like these guys have said before, they get fed silver spoons, and we get to the point where our fans are basically being looked down upon. And then when we try to stick up for ourselves, we become a laughingstock. I can understand why some people say it's not professional the way to put that tweet out. Personally, I would have just come out and said Stuart Atwell's a cunt. That's what I would have tweeted. But unfortunately, I'm not the Forest admin, so I don't get the rights to.
It's not professional the way they fucking didn't review those penalties.
Exactly. It's not professional the way they ref the match. So whichever angle you want to look at it, it's just a joke. Now, onto the football. The football was crap anyway. We deserved to lose. Would Morgan Gibbs-White have scored 3 penalties? I don't know. Maybe not. But I do agree that it could have changed the game. But we didn't deserve to win that match yesterday, whether there was problems with the decisions or not. Yesterday, half of those players on the pitch didn't look to me like they gave a single shit. It does not look like a relegation fight. It looks like they've given up. It looks like they've given up. And I feel sorry for Nuno. That picture of Nuno with his head down, smoking a cigarette after the match, that's how all the fans feel as well. Because those players on that pitch, some of them, not all of them, but some of them don't look like they're really in it. And we said before, that, you need to have fight. I'm genuinely starting to think, fucking bring back Ryan Yates. I don't care if he's crap. He'll fight on that pitch. He will fight on that pitch. Danilo was crap. Danilo was crap yesterday. You
had the crowd, Ben, and then you've just lost him on it.
I'm fed up of them not caring. It's sickening. They need to go out there. There's 4 games left. They need to keep us in the Premier League. Our team does not deserve to be relegated.
We were shit.
We
We
were
were
crap.
shit
We didn't
yesterday.
deserve to win, but we shouldn't be shit. Everton just got slapped 6-0 by Chelsea. What are Chelsea going to do to us? Are they going to make our goal difference worse than Luton's? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Okay,
I got
Crypto,
one
we
more
were
point.
shit.
One more point,
Listen.
and then one more point. I find
Go
it
on.
highly ironic that Nuno is being investigated by the FA. The people who should be investigated by the FA are the PGMOL.
Of themselves. Crypto,
I
you were shit
dropped my
yesterday.
mic, but it's attached to my desk.
We were shit yesterday, but were Everton any good? Everton was shit
No.
as
I
well.
didn't think they were good, but we were worse. We did not
Yes.
deserve. We did not deserve.
The difference, you're right. The difference, in my opinion, was application.
Mm.
Was, you know, who was fighting for the badge, who was fighting to
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
who cared? That was the difference.
They
Everton
got
was
lucky with
shit.
two long ranges.
I mean, they were
man.
shit. You know what I mean? But we
They
were
hit
shitter
two long
because
range shots
They
that
tried.
couldn't have placed any better. The keeper had no chance on either of them. But they weren't any good yesterday, and those penalties would have made a difference. There's no doubt about it. But like I said, it's not mutual. We wanted to separate the debate, but the fact of the matter is, you know, scoring one of them would have made a difference to the game. I'm back in a second. My battery's about to die.
Well, on that point, I want to bring up another topic, right? And Anthony Taylor is getting away scot freaking free. I'm sorry, but where's the hate on him? Doing this. My dead grandmother could have seen that Hudson-Odoi got his foot in front of the ball. So forget the dickhead Atwell for a minute, yeah? If the other corrupt git on the pitch could have seen the ball not being touched by that twat Ashley Young, who's tweeted today, "Cry me a river," when all he should be doing is hiding in shame, because all he will be remembered for is swan diving at Manchester United and eating bird shit on a pitch. That's all he will be remembered for, eating shit. So sit down, you stupid twat, right? Anyway, if the ref had spotted it, and this whole VAR debate goes away, does it not? Why is he getting off scot-free?
Wow, that's a long question.
Sorry, little mini rant in there as well.
No, all right, mate. You're right.
I'm fired up today, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Taylor, for me, look, Anthony Taylor is not good enough. Okay, he makes so many mistakes. Unlike you and unlike most people, I don't blame him because he's put on that pitch by the PGMOL. Okay, spit like with Ryan Yates. I don't get onto Ryan Yates. It's not his fault he's put on the pitch. Okay, so my ire towards Anthony Taylor is probably less than most people. Although I can't stand the sight of the guy and I never want him to referee a Forest game again. The fact of the matter is, regarding the one where he said he got the ball and he clearly didn't, I've got no issue with that. If he didn't,
How can you have no issue with that? Do you hear yourself?
Let me finish. I've got no issue with that. If he didn't see it, he didn't see it. He should have seen it, but he didn't.
And his positioning.
What I'm trying to say is, I understand he made a mistake in that he thought he saw something he didn't see. It's not right. He should still not
you're
ref
wrong.
again.
You're so wrong.
Well, no,
And look at his positioning.
Hang on. So you think he did see it then? And he
Yes,
did,
I
but he
think he
didn't
saw
give
it.
No, my
What
point
he
is, he saw something that never happened.
Handball's the only one he didn't see. The rest he saw. And if you look at his positioning at the time, especially the second one. Was it on Rayner? The second one, which was on Hudson-Odoi. He was right in line. He was right in front of that. How he can say that Young got the ball first on that one, I have no idea. So his position was spot on.
As soon as I was asked the question, am I allowed to answer it or not?
Go on,
You
go
are,
on.
but I'm giving you the other side.
No.
Go on, Ant. No, you're fair point. Go on. You're
What I'm trying to say is, I understand referees make mistakes. If they make mistakes, then they shouldn't be referees. But I understand they do. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. He said that he thought that Ashley Young got the ball, which he didn't. The whole thing, and I think this was backed up by most people, is that VAR could see he didn't get the ball, and they didn't say to him, Anthony, I think you should go look at that because he actually didn't get the ball. And then when he goes over to the monitor, if he still doesn't give it, then he wants, shooting. But the fact of the matter is, at that precise millisecond, he says he didn't see it. So that's what I'm saying. Well, I don't have a. If he didn't see it, I don't have a problem because we all make mistakes. VAR have not got that. VAR have not got that. You don't know. You can't see through his eyes, Ez. You can't see through his eyes. You don't know whether he saw it.
And why are you defending him? It seems like you're defending him.
I'm not defending him. I'm saying.
And you want to take it, Bob?
Ants on the brown envelope.
The fact is that he said he didn't see Ashley. He thought Ashley Young got the ball.
Can I just make a point? Right. I kind of get what you're saying, but I don't agree with the wording you're saying, right? Because if he had turned around and said, I didn't see it, yeah, fine, okay? But he saw something that wasn't there to see. That's my point here. That's my point here.
You think he was lying then? You think he saw that Ashley Young fouled him and lied?
I think he saw the first one. He saw the third one. Yeah. That for me, the fact that there's more than one occasion tells you. And in fact, I would go further and say he missed some of the Everton stuff as well. Murillo fouled Calvert-Lewin in the first half of a push. He's an atrocious referee. This whole division
he shouldn't be refereeing. That's why I don't blame him in that respect.
You have to blame him because he's there to do. That's like saying, okay, I'm going in for heart surgery.
I can blame him for being a bad referee. I can't blame him for being on that pitch on Sunday. I can't blame him for that because he was put on that pitch by the PGMOL. He was put on that pitch. That's their fault.
Agreed. But that's passing the buck.
To go further than that, my biggest issue, I've got to be honest, my biggest issue is VAR.
Because but then you go full circle.
They could see it.
Are you saying get rid of the problem is, Ant, if you say get rid of VAR, then you're back to that bold twat on the pitch who couldn't see it. So you're you're stuck in a vicious circle.
I agree.
Yeah, but I'd find it easier to forgive it if there was no VAR.
The reason I say get rid of VAR at the moment is because I'm frustrated with it. That's why. We all know there's nothing wrong with VAR. We all know it's the people running it that's the problem. Yeah. We all know that.
Go on, Rob. Jump in, Rob.
And I'll tell you something as well. That VAR, that video room that they're in, should not be in any way connected to the PGMOL. The PGMOL should supply the referees, and an independent company should be running PGMOL, who've got no vested interest in the PGMOL, and then they can make an unbiased decision about
I'd make it really simple. Just mic them up.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah, but they can still decide not to do it.
So let us hear it, man. Let us all hear it.
Mic'd up
hold on. All right. Rob, what were you saying to Anne's point? I don't want to lose the flow, and then we'll jump subjects.
We've had 2 decades of watching matches in the Championship, right? And in the Championship, a decision is a decision. You can be annoyed about it afterwards, but you can forgive it if it's like, oh, the ref's had a bad view, linesman's not seen it, heat of the moment, he got it wrong. And in fact, I remember in the Championship, they used to say afterwards, oh, yeah, okay, I did make a mistake on that. The point is that VAR is supposed to stop this. Right. So I find it's a lot harder to forgive these mistakes when they've got the technology to stop them. Right. And part of the problem with VAR is the rules around when it's allowed to be used. So, they have to say, oh, can you review this, please? Or, if it's given, VAR won't overturn it. But if they're asked, they might say this, and you can't do it for a yellow, second yellow, and you can't do it for everything in the build up to a goal. Look. Everybody remembers back in 2010 when Frank Lampard scored against Germany. It bounced in the goal and came out again, right? And it was one of these injustices generally happen to teams that I support. And we all said, this must never happen again, right? If we've got the technology, this must never happen again. They've got it in rugby. They've got it in tennis. They've got it in cricket. It should never happen again. But the point is, with VAR, it makes it harder to forgive these errors, right? So Baldy has made a mistake yesterday. He's had a bad view of it. He's convinced that what's his face, Marlowe from The Wire got the ball, right? And Ashley Young got the ball, right? But he's had a crap view of it, right? But that's where VAR should say, no, you're wrong. They should be able to overrule him, right? It shouldn't be.
So why not put the power, Rob, in the manager's hands? This is the thing I've always said. Give each manager 2 challenges. If the challenge is upheld, you keep a sub. If the challenge isn't,
in tennis and in cricket, it works like that. In tennis and in cricket, it works.
Yeah, but they're not going to mic up the refs because they'd hear all the swearing from the players. They're never
stop swearing. Stop swearing.
No, that's exactly why they should, because then the players wouldn't mouth off to them.
Yeah, but they would.
No,
it's ingrained in football. It's ingrained in football.
They Crypto, they do it in Formula 1 and they bleep the swearing out. There's like a 5-second delay. Yeah, I can live with a 5-second delay. In F1, they bleep it out when they do the radio comms on it. So it can be done. It's not a big deal. So what goddamn button?
It'd just be a massive bit of white noise, just beep.
Let me just respond to this point.
Yeah,
it's already stop-start, and the worst thing is, especially if you're out of a stadium, you have no idea what's going on. So I would say switch your mics on. Stop-start is not an argument for me because it's already stop-start, and we don't know what's going on. That's the worst thing for me. So yeah, it's no excuse not to have it done. And I don't care the swearing. Yeah, they need to stop. There's no excuse for them to be effing and jeffing up. The rugby players don't do it. They stop doing it. They stop swearing at the refs. They give them the respect that they deserve. So why can't footballers do that?
Let me just respond to Grant. Grant, that's not my point. My point is that they're not going to allow swearing on TV before the watershed.
Yeah, but it'll get bleeped out. Don't worry about
swearing anyway.
If it gets bleeped out, then. The problem is,
why is that going to solve anything?
I agree with Ant. The problem the problem's in the VAR booth yesterday. The VAR, if the ref makes the wrong decision, all the players are gathering around him. Even the Everton fans are standing there looking shocked because they know it was a foul or they know it was a handball. And it should go to VAR like in every single game. And the guy in the VAR, who in this case was Stuart Twatwell, should say that is a penalty, but he didn't because he's a Luton fan, and it's a fact. He is a Luton fan. He cares. He wants Luton to stay up. His family is season tickets holders. Of course, he wants.
Allegedly.
He's been on Luton's podcast. It's like asking one of us to do the VAR.
Exactly. It's like me being in the VAR booth, and when they scored those 2 goals yesterday, we say, "Oh fuck it, it's offside." It's corrupt. At some point in the
Are you saying you'd be corrupt, Ben? Is that what you're saying? You're saying you'd be corrupt?
No. If I was in that VAR booth yesterday, we would have won fucking 10-0 and we only had 2 shots on goal.
You know what I think part of the problem is as well. You know, I keep going on about this it's a old boys club and they're all friends with each other and it needs an independent VAR system. I think that's proven in some respects. But when VAR first came out, I think that the way that the referees were, they would give things and let VAR sort it out if it was wrong. Now it seems that they don't give things, hoping that VAR will interfere and correct it if it is incorrect.
Lazy nowadays, man.
But the problem is VAR want to look after their mate on the pitch, so they won't change it. So
they've said that.
They've said that
as well. They've admitted to that. He's my mate. I didn't want to embarrass him.
Yeah. Mike Dean has said that live on Sky Sports. Yeah. Sometimes we make decisions so that our mates on the pitch don't look like idiots. Which is why I agree that Mike Dean, Mike Dean, he said it live on Sky Sports. That's why I agree with your point. The people reffing in the VAR booth, they shouldn't even know the ref. They should have no knowledge of the ref. Of if they're mates, they shouldn't know the lines, but they shouldn't be completely separate. They should,
Forrester being assessed by an independent appeal
but it's not independent.
Yeah. It's not by Nottingham City Council. It's
a cult. It's a cult. It's literally a corrupt cult. And unfortunately, Mr. Mark Clattenburg has left the cult. And what's his punishment? His punishment is let's screw over Forest because Mark Clattenburg has left the cult. And that's it. It's like a gang. It's like a big gang. They should all be.
Yeah, you can't leave the family. Yeah. I agree. I told you. I said it.
Sue their asses. Sue their asses. The only thing to get around this is to sue them and make a point in court that this is corruption. Send them all off to fucking HMP. Get rid of them.
This is a good question, actually. Has Marinakis got more money than the Premier League? If he wanted to take it to court.
Yeah, of course he has.
Yeah.
Of course he
Bring
has.
it on.
This is
Do
the
it.
Greek father, man. He makes
Do
them an
it.
offer they can't refuse. That's the thing.
Can't he just buy the Premier League?
Yeah, basically, yeah. All right, let's.
No,
as
that's
Crypto
Man
just
City you're thinking of.
as Crypto just mentioned, Clattenburg. Okay, Rob, I'm going to take issue with you and Lemmy if Lemmy's still in the chat. Okay, you knew this was going to come up.
Find him.
You need no, because these boys were like, I can't remember what they said, to be honest. I'll ask them in a second. But I definitely remember you and Lemmy saying the 1%, the 1%. It's been 3 months. Where's my 1%?
You can't blame them for trying, is what I would say about.
No, I want to know where my 1% is.
It's backfired though.
Do you think it's back? Do you think it's made it worse?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
genuinely think it's made it worse. I think they're trying to make a point. Genuinely, I think the PGMOL.
Let's ask the
make a
chat.
point.
Right. So
Trying
wait a
to
minute.
make
So
a
if
point,
they get the audio from yesterday, it's going to be Stuart Crapwell saying Clattenburg's going to love this one. Yeah.
Probably,
Wait, let
yeah.
me ask the chat. Just before I do, the poll, right? Whose rant was the best? In joint third place was Anton Ez with 6%. And you took a day off, man. It's cost you, right? In second place,
I haven't ranted.
he's been quite level. It's the beard. He's gone mature. Yeah, you need to shave. In second place, with 34% of the vote, was Crypto with his rant. You should have dropped the mic, Crypto. And Miles in the lead was Rob with 54% of the vote. Rob, you take the rant of the match trophy thing. Kaiser Rob, exactly. So, chat, I'm going to ask the question now in the chat before I hold Rob's feet to the fire. Has Clattenburg made things better or worse for Forest, in your opinion? So, Rob, back to you. Where's my so-called promised 1%?
I need a fence option.
I was optimistic about his appointment, but in the end, he's about as much use as a piece of Battenberg. So... Yeah.
Can I just say, Rob? This is
a piece of Battenberg. I love Battenberg.
This is a classic MP tactic. You overpromise on something. You say, "Oh, we'll reduce your taxes by 10%," and then you get voted in. You get voted in, and your taxes start to go up by 5%, by 10%. It's a perfect MP tactic. We promised Clattenburg will do something good, and then it turns out he's just as useless.
He promised us, Crypto. Get it right. Yeah, he promised, and Lemmy.
Promise. I said it was worth a try.
I see you as an honest man, so I assume that anything that comes out of your mouth is basically a promise because it's not a lie.
Exactly. That's VAR.
He's a politician. How can you believe anything that comes out of his mouth?
It's not logic.
Over
to
Stuart Twatwell to VAR Rob's clip.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I'm in the toilet. Just play on. So, Rob, are you now against
I'm
him?
not voting in that because there's no.
Well,
there's no
are you saying that you agree with Gary Neville? Then you agree with Gary Neville that Mark Clattenburg should resign?
No, I am not agreeing with Gary Neville. My stance is different. He should be fired. He should be fired.
Clattenburg should be kept on just to annoy Gary Neville.
No, he should be fired.
Gary Neville doesn't care. Gary Neville's crying about Man United. Gary Neville's
done nothing.
Get rid of Ten Hag. Fuck off. Fuck off. Gary Neville, fuck you. Fuck your mates. Fucking do one, mate. Don't give a shit.
If we get a 99th minute penalty against Man City, that'll be your Clattenburg 1%. There's still 4 games to go.
Yeah, but we won't. They'll probably get one against us. Man City are the biggest brown envelope team. They're on fucking green envelopes. They're paying stacks. They're not even sending an envelope. They're putting it through Royal Mail special delivery next day. Extra large item.
You know what?
All right. Go on.
Can I just say about about Clattenburg? I don't think it's made any difference either way. I mean, what does Clattenburg actually do?
Good question.
Yeah, exactly.
Good question.
He's not
a
he's not a referee analyst, in his own words. I don't know what he is,
So
but he says he's
what
not.
does he actually do? So when he walks into the City ground on a Monday morning, assuming he sometimes does,
Yeah,
what does he actually do?
That's a good comment, by the way, that's a good
Have a
comment.
cup of coffee with Nuno. Yeah, I get that. Then what? Yeah,
No,
okay, let's move on then.
He's supposed to be there to question the
so
PGMOL.
Okay.
Actually-
for me, it's like,
Sorry,
though?
I now remember Ant was saying, this is not. It's coming back to me now. It's kind of,
No, I
this
did.
is normal.
I
It
did.
happens in Europe. It happens
It
in
does.
Europe. You weren't against it, Ant. You weren't against it.
No,
Therefore, you were
I'm not
for it.
against it.
Therefore, you were
Because
for
my
it.
point, I'm not against it because my point is, I don't think it makes any fucking difference.
Okay,
So I'm
but
not gonna
statistically,
lose my head over it.
all right,
either
Ant,
way.
but statistically, Ant, since that bell end has come in, has it got better or worse?
I don't think it's made a slight, and I never did think it would make the slightest difference.
Chat, better or worse? Just put B or W in the chat. Since
What can-
Clattenburg has
What
come
can
in,
he do? What can he actually do?
so why
There's
hire
nothing
him?
he can do.
Why hire him?
Why hire him?
he can't do nothing, and they're using it against us. It's clear. It's like imagine what one of us leaves and snakes everyone now and goes on a different channel and starts writing letters saying we don't like this, we don't like this.
I've
They're going to
already
be
done
like,
it.
they're going to be like, yeah, exactly. They're going to
Coming
be
out
like,
next week.
they're
What do you
going to
think I
be,
was the other night?
they're going to be like, fuck you. And I think that's what they feel about Mark Clattenburg. I think they think, you know what? Screw
You're right.
him.
I
He
agree
was
with
one
that.
of us. He was one of us, and he screwed us
So it's
over
made it worse
for
than that.
money.
So you agree it's
I
made it
agree
worse
with
than
Screw them over in
The only
return.
thing is, why was he chatting to Howard Webber, recent Forest game, if they're big enemies?
Because he probably went for dinner with him last night after the game.
Yeah.
They're probably like best mates. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and
so
then a
make your
cream
mind
pie
up, they're either
after.
best mates or they hate each other. They can't be both, can they?
Well, who cares? Send the ball to HMP.
Did you say what I thought you said there, Wolfie?
Yeah, I did.
Right, I'm going to just stick to what I
Okay.
said anyway. I said it would put a target on our head. I think it has. I think it has definitely made it worse. I don't think it's made it any better. I think there's a couple of decisions, and I can't pick out one by one, but there's a few decisions that I think if he hadn't been there, we may have got.
Nah, come on.
We may have got. Yeah, I
And
think
what,
so. So I
what the
think
hell
it's
have
made it
Wolves
worse.
done wrong? Who
Huh?
are they hired?
Well, Wolves are just because they've got a PE teacher. Nobody likes a PE teacher, so that's probably
Oh
what's
yeah,
going
he is a
on
PE
with them.
teacher.
No,
Yeah,
no. I know a certain Manchester United fan that does.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
it wouldn't.
I like
It wouldn't.
him. I think he's got.
Mind
I like
you,
him.
they've got Ten Hag, who wouldn't prefer a PE
exactly.
teacher.
It wouldn't actually surprise me if you know this thing we're doing where we're saying give us our points back. It would not surprise me if they said, you know, those 2 points we deducted for you guys cooperating. We're giving it. We're actually going to take that back off, and you're going
They
to
can't. It's an independent panel.
It's an independent panel. That's the only thing that
Yeah,
goes
but
in our
who's
favour.
on the independent panel? Stuart Atwell. Wouldn't surprise me. Don't make
Completely
Man.
support.
It's
We need
man.
to know.
An
That's a good
independent
question.
panel. Exactly. Where are they from? Who do they support?
Yeah,
They're probably
yeah.
Luton fans.
Stuart Atwell.
So
Derby County's managing director.
Yeah, Rob
Exactly.
Jones.
they'll,
Yeah,
they'll come out. They'll come out with a
And
letter.
Jimmy.
Independent
Jimmy.
panel.
Jimmy.
Yeah, an
Jimmy.
independent panel made up of Jimmy, a Burnley fan, 2 Luton fans, and Howard Webb.
yeah, but there's only 3 crypto. You got about 6 there, mate. How have you got 6 in
How
3
many
seasons?
there are? I don't give a fuck. Get rid of them all.
They're
Get
corrupt.
rid of them
We'll
all.
have 6 and say it's only 3.
Get rid of them all.
I forgot what I was going to ask. It was important as well. Oh yeah, that was it about the appeal, right? Shout out to Nick, right? Not mine, not as in Twist Nick. He said, Nick as in Logan's dad, Nick. He said to me, and this is an interesting theory, and he was only spitballing, right? He goes, he wouldn't be surprised if Nick DeMarco had constructed this whole thing together, right? To make it sound, to put this pressure on so that when we go to the appeals court, basically we'll get all 4 points back. I don't know. Nick, I don't know if you're in the chat. If you are, defend yourself or make a case. I thought it was interesting. But could this be a whole pile on pressure now? Because it does feel like Forest have got a lot of parts of fan bases on side, not just internally in Forest, but externally. Could this be a way of them saying to us, all right, we've screwed you over so hard, man, that we're just going to give you your 4 points back? But it's the old
gonna make
independent
no
panel.
difference whatsoever, mate.
Yeah.
People power makes
Yeah.
no difference whatsoever. We could have a whole other league behind us. It's gonna make no freaking difference to these people whatsoever. Look, other people in power now. Look, other protests going on. Does it make any difference? No, it doesn't. So yeah,
True.
let me jump in, man. I'm not saying any more on that.
Yeah, Lemmy. Do you want to start with Clattenburg, or what do you want to start with, Lemmy? Well, you got to start by turning your mic on,
Put
mate.
your mic on, mate.
Yeah. You keep Charlie Chaplin
the big
there.
build up.
Yeah.
Schoolboy
You
era
keep going, mate. You keep just
I can lip read him. He's saying I'm not.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry about what I said about Clattenburg. I was wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Oh, there he goes. I can hear him. There you go.
Yeah.
What's up, Lemmy? How are you, bro?
Yeah, so I'll start off by saying I'm sorry for being late. I saw the scramble that happened yesterday, and I thought if any of these absolute pillocks can somehow get a job managing to be a referee of a Premier League game, I might as well give it a shot. So I just put it into Google how to join the PGMOL. It was £100 entrance fee, and then you had to kind of do a test. It was kind of like going to an optician's. You had to do like an eyesight test. But apparently my eyesight was too good because I managed to get past the first few lines. I could actually see what was going on in front of my eyes. So then they failed me on the spot there, but then another £50 put into a brown envelope and passed on to them. They let me go through. And then I just had to say,
I was actually legit believing you there for a minute, man. Like you had Googled it. Like you had me going.
Not lying.
It was just yeah, it was an absolute shocker. I think we could have got to a position where you had that tackle from like Martin Taylor on Eduardo in 2008, where you basically napped the bloke's ankle off, and the referees would have said, "No, he got the ball first. It's fine."
Well, we had that on Nico Williams against Brighton, didn't we? Pretty much.
It was disgusting. It was the first one. Yeah, I saw it, and obviously, as a Forest fan, I thought, yeah, I'd want a penalty for that. But I'm not surprised that's not been given. It then kind of just turned into, right, I wonder what else we can get away with. And they just kept on escalating. How that second and third one were not given by the on-field referee, let alone bloody VAR, it's just disgusting. It happening once in a game. And I feel like that's where a lot of our built-up emotion on this has happened, because it's happened maybe once a game, every game. And at that point, you think, right, this is either really terrible bad luck or something is a bit stinky here. To happen 3 times with the same player in the same game, I can't think of another word for it other than corruption, because it just is. It blatantly is. There is no way that you can say that that is just 3 bad decisions all in a row. You've got as much luck as me somehow going in. I don't even know. I can't think of any kind of comparison where you could say, yes, this is definitely just real bad luck for that. It's got past that point now. It was laughable. I saw that tackle on Callum Hudson-Odoi through the back of his leg, and it reminded me. I immediately thought back to the game against West Ham at home, where you listen to Nottingham or BBC Nottingham's commentary on it, and they say that is stood on his ankle. It's easily a penalty, and this was in the West Ham game where Nico Williams was through, and I think their left back stood on his ankle. He said there has to be a penalty. VAR is going to look at it. If that's not a penalty, VAR has no point in here. And what did they do? Just immediately waved it off. Didn't even send the referee to go and have a look at it. It has got to a point where I can't be arsed with it anymore. It's horrible. It's every single game you're going into it thinking, right, we're not playing against 11 players here. And even especially in an away game where you're playing against 11 players and the fans, you're playing against 16, 17, because all of the officials just seem to want to be going against us. And I know that you're probably going to try and pin back on me and say, yes, I said that Mark Clattenburg might have had a positive impact.
1%. 1%.
If I would say if he's had any kind of an impact, positive or negative, and especially if he's had a negative impact and all of a sudden we are now getting more decisions going against us, that is a significantly bigger case for corruption. Significantly bigger. You are now not making decisions based on the game. You're not making decisions because we've got a Luton fan who somehow managed to get into the VAR booth for a game where the 2 teams who they are probably trying to get relegated so that they don't go down I don't know how you can do that and say, oh, I didn't know he was a Luton fan when he's not been able to referee any Luton games for the entire fucking season.
Mhm.
Exactly.
But then if you're then making decisions based on the fact that we've brought Mark Clattenburg in and you're saying, no, you can't have a decision because he's now on your team, that is a absolute case closed. That is corruption, and it's just rife of it. If we go down because of that, and if they want to deduct us more points, fuck it, bring it on. I can't be arsed with it. It's just ruined watching the game. It almost seems like this entire season has just been ruined because everything is just, it's been so pointless watching a game because you're not getting a fair treatment. We've got deducted points when you're not going to deduct anything from one of the bigger teams, where they've done 115 cases and you've got someone that's spent £1 billion on players, but then all of a sudden he's going to buy off a hotel next to the ground, and that's not shady dealings. But we're not going to look into that. We're only going to look into the teams who are either at the bottom of the table and then change the rules at the end of the season, or we're going to look at teams that aren't going to be in the Premier League next season or in the Championship this season and just deduct points off them because they're not in the Big Six. They don't give us good holiday deals. They don't send us off on nice excursions so that we can go and have good training courses out on the other sides of the world.
Yeah.
It's just,
which is kind of ironic, Lemmy, because Stuart Atwell from Luton could have literally walked down to the airport and fucked up.
it's just horrible. And it's got to the point. I
Nuneaton.
know that we've all said that we're kind of worried about getting relegated, but I'm at the point now where I'm like, am I even arsed now? It's watching football is just, it's completely ruined, and now everyone's against us. It's, oh, if we try and have a say, because we try to do things in the right channels where we've tried to get, we've put in our posts, we've maybe said something in a post-match interview to then get our fines. We then get our apologies where you could just collect them like this, like, here you go, here's all my apologies. If you collect 100, then we'll give you a nice golden one that says a really big sorry, and you can wipe your ass with it. It's so pointless to try and do anything if you just know that you're going to have everything stacked against you.
Let me, man, what have you done? They're all saying rerun the poll. I did the poll too early. They want Lemmy's name on there. Someone's saying you've overtaken Rob. He comes back with a bang. He really does. Welcome back, Lemmy. Before you do, I've got to catch up on some super chats. Chris, thank you so much for the £2. He says, Marlow coming, LOL. It's Omar, mates. That's from a while back, so I can't remember what that was about.
That's a reference to explain that. It's a reference to The Wire. There's one of the principal characters from The Wire.
Oh, shotgun.
Looks exactly like Ashley Young, Marlow Stansfield. Anyway, that was
the dude with the shotgun.
Half an hour ago when I said it.
Dude with the shotgun with the scar on his face.
No, no. Marlow is the one that killed Stringer Bell.
He does. He's the kid. He's the kid in the last season. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, he does look like him. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I think the real question, though, Lemmy, that you have to explain in what you've said is what Laurie said here. Where's the beard?
Unfortunately, although that game did age me, I'm still only about 12 years old. So facial hair is still not going to grow. It's, yeah.
That's why he's not been on chat.
On old points as well, but when I was listening in, you were talking about other sports, and I watch a lot of cricket and Formula One and tennis, and especially like rugby as well, where if you look at any other sport, you'd say that most of the people that play those sports, maybe there is a little bit of gamesmanship going on, but you have nothing like what happens in football across the board. I can't think of any other sport where you're trying to like win the referee's favor, because they just know that it's not going to happen. You can't like completely fool them. It maybe happens in cricket. You'd like try and take a catch and you say, yeah, I definitely caught it and my hands were underneath it. But they're going to just have a look at it. They're going to keep on rolling it back and they're going to stop the game until they know exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
If you bring in something like that, which happens in cricket, where you're allowed to actually try and review a decision yourself and have a manual input and say, no, you have to stop and have a look at it. If you then still have to look at it, wait 5 minutes and you still agree with your decision, fine. We then lose like one of our options to review. You're not going to have players like, roll around on the floor after a penalty because they know that they're going to get looked at. You're not going to have people that all of a sudden stand up like this and say, oh, no, it's okay, ref. This is my natural arm position. I always walk around the streets like this. It's just not going to happen. It is so ludicrous.
Unless you're buff, you know what I'm saying?
It's pretty much the only sport where so much of it is skill, but then others is just deceiving what the referees and VAR officials are going to see.
Didn't we have one in that Newcastle game that was an arm in a natural position? Was it Ilanga's cross or something? I'm trying to remember now. Like in the old days, if a ball hit a hand in the penalty area, it didn't matter whether it was a natural position or not.
But they've changed the rules. They've changed the rules so many times.
Subjectivity into it.
All right, hold on, boys. I have to catch up with the super chats, right? Let's 30 seconds. Respect the legends in the chat. If you got any comments that are urgent, please get them in super chats. Wazza, as always, what a supporter you are of the channel. He's the £3, £1 for each shitty penalty decision. You're an absolute legend.
Should be £4, mate, man. £4.
Yeah, there should have been 4. Yeah, there's about 20 penalties. Graham, thank you as well, bro. I can't remember how many months that is, but good to see you renewing. Thank you so much.
Like check.
Wait, I'm still not done. And a massive thank you to everyone who's been supporting with the PC, which Rob will be piecing together for me. I don't know how much I trust him. At least, Rob, your surname's not Atwell, is it?
Yeah, we'll put a picture of the build. We'll put a link to the build once I've spec'd it out.
Yeah, we'll film. We'll live stream Rob putting it together, so I know he's not putting any explosives in it.
He's gonna like preload PUBG on it and just play it back.
Yeah, I'll uninstall that. I just want a massive shout out to Jimmy, who's donated £25 today for it, and Forest Hood £20. You guys are amazing. You're making dreams come true.
Chef you, Jimmy?
No, this is the legit Jimmy, Big Jimmy NFFC, and he says he's got a message there. Keep up the awesome streams, Wolfie. Come on, you Reds. Notice he said Wolfie, not you lot. Love you, Jimmy. Love you. Not the Sheffield Jimmy.
He loves you, Jimmy. He really does.
If you just got a spare quid, you can chuck that way. The link's pinned in the chat. But get those super chats in as well. You don't understand how much you're supporting us. We have such big plans, especially if Forest stay up.
And
for the channel.
Road to 20k in it. And
road to 20k as well.
Yeah. Road to 20k. Come on, guys, get us there.
Officially started. So the number right now is 18,269. Now it is a stretch. There's only 4 weeks left of the season, but can we get to 20k before the end of? They can do it. They can do it.
Hit the like.
Yeah, what are we on? About 280 likes. We only need 11 more likes for 300.
Oh, do that. Let's get to 600 likes. 600 likes, and we'll all put some money together to send Stuart Twatwell to prison.
And he likes pirate and send me gifts.
Yeah,
exactly. And it should be easy to do because there's 900 of you in here across all platforms. We love you lot. You've made this the biggest Forest platform on social media, on YouTube. So thank you guys so much. Okay, I want to move this on into a bit more of a mature debate. I know this might be hard for us guys. Is everyone okay for another 15 minutes? I know we're overrunning.
Can I just make one point that will back up some of what we've been saying? Just quickly.
Do I have a choice? Yeah, is this?
I just want to make a quick point. I've got the stats open of the teams that have been given the most penalties this season, and it'll be no surprise that in order it goes Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United, Man City. And then at the other end of the table, with basically 1 or 2 decisions given, is Forest, Fulham, Burnley, Everton, Brentford, etc. So the top 6 teams have had between 6 and 12 penalty decisions given, and the bottom 6 teams have had between 1 and 2.
Can you also bring up the stat of how many times those teams got into the penalty box compared with us?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter, man. We've got people who can score from like 30 yards. We got
shut up, that doesn't suit my narrative.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so the segue into Ez. I don't know why you're not the most mature one here, but we'll start with you, all right? And just a quick shout out from Pirate Sea Dog, man. Ant wearing the grumpy old bastard hat. Looking good there, Ant. Looking good there.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Okay,
Yeah, give him
anyway,
a shout out. innit?
shout out to him. Thank you for sending that through. I was gonna say the segue really that I want to get under is okay. We've all had our explosive moments tonight. I hope the chat has kind of taken it the right way. You know, tensions are running high and what have you. We are in a relegation battle. What is the outcome of this, Ez? Right? Like I said, I've changed my mind. I'm backing the tweet now from where I was yesterday. I've had a night to sleep on it, but I'm still sitting here and thinking, where does this road lead down? Is there a good path or a bad path, or can you see both? And chat, what do you reckon? What do you reckon? Jordan, we do have merch, exclamation mark merch. There's some merch in there. There's some merch in there. But go, what are you saying is, where does this go?
There's no doubt that FA are going to respond to it, and they're going to come down as hard as they possibly can get away with us. But we've got to have a right to appeal any decision that they come up with, because end of the day, if you put the facts on the table, they cannot deny the evidence that we're going to come up with. If they're talking about, if they're saying we're not corrupt, or your accusation of calling us corrupt has no basis, and we bring out all the evidence in the world, and we've got enough, and you can look at it from an independent point of view, and everyone's going to have an opinion on it. And if it's just down to opinion, then I think the majority will side with us, because it's quite blatant. If it's not precedent for, like say, a couple of weeks ago, you'll see somebody with a similar handball and it's given. That's a precedent. And it's not given for us, and it's not even reviewed for us. That's the thing. It wasn't reviewed. It wasn't that it wasn't given first time round. Like Ant said, the referee can make a mistake. The handball, I don't think he saw the handball. But for VAR not to intervene, that's where the corruption lies, and that's what our appeal is going to be. So
where's it going? Where's it going, Ez?
Well, it's not going to end positively for us, is it? End of the day, because they've got all the power. We do not have the power, but. Fact is, somebody's going to have to make a stand sooner or later, and I'd rather it was us than nobody. And if it has to be Forest, then it has to be Forest. But you got to detach that from what's going on the pitch. We need to see massive improvement from the players in the last four. You can say 3 games because everyone's counting the Man City game out of it. But don't forget, we did get a draw out of them. We played a part in the title race last season. Maybe we can again this season. You just never know with Forest at the moment. And I think it was Wolfie in your video earlier. You were looking at a stat and our results against the top teams, and as opposed to the teams around us. It is embarrassing, and that's obviously what's going to cost us. But I think, like I said a couple of weeks ago, I think draws might just be enough. We might get 1 or 2 draws, and maybe a point or 2 back from the appeal that will be enough to keep us up. But it's by no means anything that we should be shouting about, because it's been an embarrassing season from start to finish. One of the worst that I remember in sport in all the years of sporting Forest, and we're talking about 35 years. You know, it's been turmoil. I want it all over, but obviously I want it all over with us on the right side of that dotted line. So from our point of view, mate, we're gonna have to ride whatever FA throw at us, but we make sure that Nick DeMarco does his job in that aspect as well, and we're able to put an appeal in, or Mark Clattenburg does his job. You know, something needs to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, but Ez, just on that point, saying we've got to separate it from the pitch, Nuno's come out and said the complete opposite. The players can't stop thinking about it. It's on their mind. They can't get out. They can't get out of the thought of this, 1, the points deduction, and 2, what's happening in the game.
Isn't it? That's what we're seeing on the pitch. It seems like it is affecting them, but his job is to take their minds off that. They've got a much bigger problem to deal with, and that's keeping us in the Premier League. So his job is to get their mindset right. But
as he said, they've come out and said that it's impacted their thought process, even the PSR stuff.
Exactly.
So this will.
It doesn't sound like he wants to separate it. It's almost like I know.
Are we saying the players don't care, or they care too much? Because a few weeks we said it looks like they don't care. So what are we saying?
The thing with Forest, there's always an excuse. After every game, there's an excuse. Most of the time, they're legitimate, but there's still always an excuse after every game. They need to show on the pitch that they want to fight and stay in this league. Because at the moment, what's happening is that we're losing games, and then we're saying we're not talking about the football. Nuno doesn't come out in the post-match interview and talk about football. He says, oh, the refs have screwed us over. Oh, this has happened. It's almost like the blame is being shifted to all of these things are basically making it unfair. And they are, But on the pitch, at the end of the day, we are not good enough. We're not good enough in the sense of the football we play is not good enough. Everton have just been slapped 6-0 by Chelsea. They looked awful, and we go out on that pitch yesterday.
From the start.
But it didn't look like they cared.
Sorry, we've spent so long talking about obviously everything else. We've not actually talked about the game.
Yeah,
but
the game
that's good.
should have been go at them from the. I told you they can't play out from the back. We should have been so high up in their faces. Their faces from the beginning.
Too slow to get the ball forward. It's like they would not do a pass further than 5 yards. And this five-a-side crap on the edge of our penalty area, Sells was getting chased down every freaking time. They'd seen the video of Ryan Yates from the game before, and
I'm going to say it. Niakate was poor yesterday. I don't know how
he can't single him out.
I wouldn't single him out.
Goal, mate. He's ducked away. He's ducked out of it. He should have cleared that first header. That should have been cleared by him. His passing was awful yesterday. He can't do anything on his right foot. He was awful yesterday. He should have played on.
You can't put the first goal on him unless you're going to put it on Morgan Gibbs-White, Danilo, and Murillo and Sells. All of them.
Trying to play out from the back. One of the things we said about Niakate when he came in, he brings out the ball from the back. We haven't seen that from him, man. We haven't seen that. I'm sorry, he's been a massive letdown. Tell me I'm wrong.
They're sat deep, though. They're sat too deep.
You're Muslimist, man.
Why are they scared of Everton? Why? Our away form is so bad. We should just go out there and try to win the game. But instead, we sit back and defend again, invite the pressure. It's the same as every match. And then mistakes happen. There's a gap in midfield. The gap in midfield yesterday, you could have opened the Nile through it. It was ridiculous. We
need to go back to 4-3-3. That's what we need to do.
It's not working.
Well, we tried that against Brighton. We tried 4-3-3 against Brighton, and that was our worst performance since Fulham, and this was the worst performance since that. Exactly. But I do think that if you are going to play Reina, you can't put him in for Elanga because he's not a winger, right? If Reina is going to be played, he needs to be played as the 10, and Gibbs-White needs to be back in the holding role or the deeper role, right?
I agree.
The only way that you can accommodate them both in the team, because they get in each other's way. And we had a one-sided attack, which was Hudson-Odoi. He's not fast enough. We had absolutely no pace in our attack, so they pushed their back line right up to the halfway line, and we're playing on the edge of our box. Every time we got the ball, we allowed time for the entire Everton team to get back and be between us and the goal. And
Branthwaite ran 70 yards unchallenged.
I saw that. That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
The only time it worked, if you remember Nico's shot early on, I think it was in the first 20 minutes or so. That was the only time Reina and MG Dub linked yesterday, and they linked really well, but that was the only opportunity. And that was from a high press, started off by Dominguez.
Good point about not tackling, by the way, because there's a reason why they weren't tackling, because we were shit scared of the set pieces because we can't defend them. So this all goes round in a row. I mean, just remember, Omar Bamidele, last week against Wolves, Omar Bamidele has tracked that guy full 60 yards because he doesn't want to tackle. We're so shit scared of tackling because we know we can't defend the set pieces. And I think Crypto said it himself. If you put Ryan Yates in, his problem is that he doesn't know when not to tackle, but at least he might have got in the way of one of those runs.
Here we go. A player's not playing, and all of a sudden, he's the best player in the world.
Mangala, isn't it?
I think we've invented Ryan Yates, haven't we? We've invented Ryan Yates.
I don't want to talk about Ryan Yates, but what consistently annoys me, and it happened again yesterday, is when the subs come on, he's put Origi up front. What is Origi going to do? You may as well put Stuart Atwell up front. He's not going to score a goal for us. He doesn't want to score a goal for us. You put fucking Ribeiro on. Ribeiro is a striker. Ribeiro is a striker, and he puts him in the midfield behind Origi. What is that? Yesterday after those 3 penalty decisions, the one thing that could make it worse, the one thing that makes you throw your shoe through the TV is when Morgan Gibbs-White walks up to the fucking corner and takes a corner. It's the same thing. Why is Morgan Gibbs-White on corners? Why is Origi coming on as a sub? Why is Ribeiro going into a cam position when he's a striker? What the fuck is going on? It's the same shit week after week after week after week after week. I'm fucking done with it. It's a whole load of bollocks, and it's pissing me off.
I know you said you don't want to talk about Yates.
Next week,
Shout
Guys,
out
let's
Ryan
bring
Yates.
let's bring Anne and then Lemmy in. And I feel like you've passed the rant of Ant over to these lot
Yeah.
tonight, mate. You're very
To be
calm,
honest,
mate.
I'm really tired, and you know, I've had a bit of a tough time recently.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
a bit, I mean, I'm okay, but I'm a bit, not quite
Yeah.
my usual self, which is probably for the best,
Boring.
actually, because I
Mm.
could. Thank you. Who
Boring,
said
Ant.
that? Who said that? Otherwise I probably would have been going off on one. Sorry, what was the question? You asked me one.
I was just gonna say what you're saying about the game, the actual game. Let's talk football here. What are you saying?
Yeah.
You know what I was going to say? They've kind of got away with it with all the controversy.
Yes,
They've kind of got
yes.
away with it on this
Yeah.
podcast, and it's a bit late to start on it now. But yes, my goodness me, fucking hell, they were shit. I mean, they were. That is the most dispiriting and discouraging performance I've seen this season, and and I include Fulham in that because it was crunch time. The Fulham game, we still had loads of time to go, and it was end of Cooper's reign and all that business. This was crunch game, and they just didn't turn up.
Wait, you're saying it was
Honestly,
must win? You're saying it was must win?
No, of course it
Yesterday-
wasn't, because if we beat Man City,
You
on
just said
Sunday, we'll be
crunch
fine.
game. Crunch game is
crunch
acronym for
game.
must win.
Well, we could play that game if you like, but I thought we'd moved on. It was a vital crunch game, and they just didn't turn up. And I don't know the reason for that. I don't know whether it's the manager or whether it's the players, whether it's the system. I don't know the reason, but after the first 10 minutes, their crowd had gone quiet, and I was already hearing murmurings in the crowd. I thought, come on, Forest, step on it, and you'll be all right here. We never did. We never, and Rob quite rightly said, we never looked like we wanted to progress the ball further than 5 yards. It kept coming back. We were dilly-dallying. There was none of that punch that we have seen in fairly recent games. I mean, look at the Newcastle game. That's the same team virtually, give or take. The difference in the performance levels was massive, but this game was more important than that game. Do you know what I mean? It's against a rival that could go down if we perform well. I'll sort of mess that up, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't saying.
So, so I was extremely disappointed. In fact, I got to be honest, confession time, I turned the last 10 minutes off. That's how much faith I had.
Ask Rob what he did for the last 20.
I switched off on 70 and went to do the back lawn, and I came back in 40 minutes later. It was still bloody going. I've tried
because
watching the highlights packages, and there's nothing after Everton's second goal.
Yeah, but we do need to shout out. Mark's put it here about Beto, because that looked nasty when he went off with the oxygen and everything. So hopefully he's okay.
Yeah,
before he broke
Is a clash ahead to Morgan? Yeah, there's a clash ahead to Morgan. He went off with an oxygen and a spine protector thing and everything. Right, let me just do the super chat.
Shit, by the way, but all the best to him.
Yeah. Nick, what's that count? Nick, thank you so much for the 199 pre-planned. Yeah, just like Nick DeMarco. Nick and Nick, and thank you so much. And a shout out to Sharky for the £5 towards the PC. You're a legend, Sharky. Love you, bro. Sorry, go on, finish your point, and then I want to bring Lemmy in with a stinker.
I've not got much more to say. As I say, I can't remember the last time that I ever felt no hope during a game. We've been 2-0 down before, and I always believe if we get one, we get. I'd seen nothing from our players during that game that made me think we could get back into it. Honestly, it was pathetic. I won't say any more because there's other people, but and I am genuinely worried now. Up until yesterday, I can promise you, up until yesterday, I felt pretty damn certain we were going to stay up. Now, I am worried.
Because it was a must-win game. Okay. Eltel saying Beto's okay. That's
must-win games. They'll soon become must-fucking-win games.
But Josh says on the plus side, your beard's looking good, Ant. All right, I'm going to hit you with a stinker of a question, right? What is wrong with Forest? Because when you sit back and look at it, like as Ant said, we played Newcastle off the park in that second half. We beat Man U. We destroyed Fulham a couple of weeks ago. There were patches in the Spurs game where we looked okay until Chris Wood lost his powers on that post. And then we see performances like this, and we've seen a few of these as well, in and out of good performances, we see shit performances. So my question is it the players? Is it the manager? Is it the behind the scenes stuff? Is it what? I don't know the answer anymore, because that team yesterday was probably close to our best first team. And that's, for me, the most worrying sign. If that's close to our best 11 and we played a stinker, that's why I'm with Ant. I'm worried.
Yeah, I think the key link, and obviously I don't know the actual answer, but this is kind of like my take on it and what happened yesterday. The key link between all those games where you were saying we put in good performances is we probably weren't expecting anything from any of those games. Newcastle away, you expect to lose. Man United at home, yeah, you maybe get a point, but you still probably expect to lose. Aston Villa at home, maybe get a point, but you probably still expect to lose. Fulham at home, we're playing dreadful. You don't expect to win that game. It's like when they don't have any expectation of what they should get out of the game, they actually play football. But you're playing in a game, and especially the day before where you see Luton get absolutely thumped. We probably all went away from that game and went, if we win against Everton, we're probably safe here.
Yeah, agreed.
So then build an expectation of how you think that's, if we can win, we can be safe. And they all looked fucking shit scared yesterday, every single one of them. None of them. I remember a point where we actually tried to play some good football down the right hand side, and Nico Williams was in a position to cross, and in the space of maybe 10 to 20 passes, the ball was back with Matt Sells. And we were in our penalty box, then passing around the edge. None of them wanted to be the player who was at fault for letting a goal go in. They were more focused on not being at fault for us conceding a goal than actually trying to go forward and score. And that was the problem. And like Ant said, I wasn't worried, but two of our games where we're probably expecting to draw points now, if that's how we play against teams where we're expecting to win, Jesus Christ, I am worried at that, because they clearly show that they can't handle the expectation, and they are shitting themselves.
Yeah, but you're Mr. We're fine. Remember last year, chat. If Lemmy's worried, it's time to hit the panic button. I'm not gonna lie. Are you confirming you're worried?
Well, if we hit the panic button, then maybe they'll fucking turn up, because we're not expecting anything. So yeah, sure, maybe that will work. I don't know, but it's the fact that we've not managed. We got a last gasp winner against Sheffield United at home in the second game of the season. Other than that, we've not beat anyone around us.
Yeah,
all of our wins have pretty much been from teams up in the top six or like mid-table when we were
6th to 9th. Let me. I'll put it on the video today. We've beaten all the teams at least once between 6th and 9th. We've take Sheffield out of it because they're shit, right? We haven't beaten a team until you get to 12th in the league. It's exactly what you're saying, and like when you're talking there, Lemmy, you know what? You just kind of you got a little analogy in my head. What you said about they're scared to make the mistakes. And that's just got me thinking, it almost feels like when a team goes into extra time in a World Cup final or a Champions League final, and they try to play out for penalties because they don't want to make that mistake. That's almost what we're seeing on the pitch. I think you made an interesting point there.
That was happening for 90 minutes. You see us playing at home, and I remember like seeing us playing some of the games where I remember some of the main positives that I'd have for Callum Hudson-Odoi and Elanga and Tavares and Nico Williams to a point is they weren't afraid to be on the ball and run with it. They weren't afraid to go past players. You didn't see that yesterday. No one was willing to take a player on. They were always looking to make a pass and then try and make a move. But no one was willing to actually just have the ball and run. And when you look on the flip side, you've got a fucking centre-back in Jared Branthwaite who's taken the ball and run to the edge of our box.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, no one's closing down because no one wants to be the player that's got out of position to make the tackle and missed it. No one wants to be the player to then be leaving someone else open so that he's then got an easy tap in. It was rife with fear the entire way through. And you could see it was like no one wanted to try and go to make a tackle on the edge of the box for the 2 goals. they were like saying, right, it's just you can have a shot from there if you want, but I'm not going to come out and try and make a tackle because I might give away a free kick. And we know how bad we are at defending set pieces, so I'm not going to go and do that.
Ironically, we didn't concede from a set piece yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is
They
crazy.
should give a point for that.
We defended
Morgan-
them really well.
We
yesterday.
spoke before about them not being clinical enough. Morgan Gibbs-White had to score that yesterday. He bent it around the keeper. It was an open net from an angle, and he put it wide. For me,
Chris Wood should have scored.
that type of thing is like you've got to be finishing those chances. Like this is a difference between teams that are scoring and trying to stay up and us. Like it's just not good enough. We haven't got that final piece of the puzzle. And I know Lemmy says players look scared. I don't think it's that. I think some of them just don't care. Danilo running yesterday after Branthwaite.
He was shit,
We
man.
were just jogging behind him. He didn't even try to tackle him. He ran about 50 yards with him, just jogging behind him. It's just shocking. There's no.
We've had too many post-match interviews where we've been saying, "Oh, we have to eliminate these individual errors. It was a good performance. We've got to eliminate these individual errors." So the problem is now that the players, no one's brave enough to make the challenge. No one's brave enough to take somebody on because they don't want to make an individual error. So they're leaving it to somebody else to put the tackle in. Somebody else.
Rob, that run was through the center of the pitch. It wouldn't matter if he fouled it.
If we had a message for the team now, you've got to step up and you've got to take responsibility and you've got to be brave. You've got to be brave enough to take somebody on and brave enough to make the team.
Cowards.
Yeah, but Rob, if they listen to us, they'd probably be in first position. So it's they don't listen to us.
By the way,
just
a little bit of information. If with our brilliant away record, especially against lower teams,
3
lose
wins
to Burnley, they're on the same points as us.
Well,
Say that again, sorry. Burnley, what?
If we lose to Burnley, which we could, being in mind our away record.
Yeah, that's assuming no one gets any points until the last day of the season.
Yeah, but they would be on the same point. Yes. They would be on the same point.
It will go down to the last game. I'm confident of that. It'll go down to the last game.
Oh, I can't.
Mate, draws will be enough. I can't see Luton picking up another 3 points from their games. I think two more points.
That's the thing. We couldn't see Luton getting anything against Bournemouth. And then all of a sudden come back. They play without fear.
Luton
play without fear.
All right, one at a time. Go on, Rob. You go, and then Lemmy.
Luton had an absolute shocker. And I think we should all just agree, if we had our 4 points back now, we'd be on 30, right? Generally speaking, if you want to stay in the Premier League, you need a point a game, right? So we are currently 4 points off what is normally the line between survival and relegation, right? So we are currently relegation fodder, right? In any season, we're relegation fodder. The only question is, are there 3 shitter teams than us this year? And the answer may yet
only just yes, there is.
So the point is that we must not condemn ourselves or accept our fate and say, "Oh fuck it, I'm screwed. I'm fed up with this. Just relegate us now. I've accepted it." No, there's 4 games. There's 12 points to play for, right? So all this discussion about the penalties and about the corruption, in some ways it's taken away from the crap performance, but actually that's a good thing. Let's not overanalyze the crap performance. We need to actually get behind the management of the club, get behind Marinakis. We've got 12 points to play for, and we need to recapture that sense of unity, right? Because they are capable. There are 12 points up for grabs, and the other 3 teams below us are potentially even shitter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And if we stay up, it doesn't matter how we do it, right? But let's not accept our fate or bring it on ourselves by a negative mindset.
I think I'm the only one here who I said what I needed to say. I've never predicted us to lose a game. I predicted us to lose 2-0. So I didn't put any pressure on the Everton game because Everton aren't the team we're chasing. We just need to stay ahead of Luton. And now it's looking like Burnley put a little mini run on. But I kind of wanted Sheffield to beat them on a weekend just to end their little mini revival. But the fact of the matter is, we just need to be better than them 2 teams. Forget Everton. We were never going to catch Everton. Everton were going to be safe anyway.
But
we should be safe.
Rubbish.
How many points
point.
they had?
That is rubbish.
That is. If we'd have beaten Everton on Sunday, then there's
Would
no
be
way
4
that
points
they're
ahead of
We'll
Luton.
never be
Listen, we don't need to
relegated.
worry.
They
I
do
said
this every
Everton are the
year.
team we should be chasing. We should just make sure we do better than Luton and Burnley. That's all we
By
need to do.
beating
We don't
teams
need
who
to
are
be
lower
better
down in
than
the league
Everton.
like Everton.
Everton are
It's
safe.
not about
Exactly.
facing Everton. It's about getting
Everton are safe
3
anyway.
points ahead of
Everton
Luton.
have still got Luton to play at home. They're
Yeah,
going to do
but
us a
if we're
favour.
beating them, Ez, then that is the perfect game for us to have to watch with popcorn. Because someone's going to lose points both below us. They would have both been below us.
They're going to do us a favour now. They've got the wind beneath their sails.
They're on the
They've got a little
beach.
bit
We
of
just
stuff to
put
go
them on the
through.
beach, which
No,
is
I
probably
haven't
giving
put
the
them on
game
the
to
beach yet.
Luton. That's the point
No,
on
I
this.
haven't
That's
put
why
them
I'm
on the
so
beach.
annoyed.
Okay. Mark my words, mate. Luton not going to pick another 3 points up by the end of this season.
Just give us the
They've got
lottery
easy
numbers
run-
then, man, if you know all this crap, man.
Luton had the easiest run in. They've got the easiest run in.
No. Don't do
No, I
that.
wouldn't agree.
They
No,
do.
don't do easy run-ins. It doesn't work. It does not
Yeah,
work.
They've got the lowest. They've got the lowest
No,
side teams as their run in.
Don't even bother because it doesn't work. Easy running, harder running, it makes no difference. It's the end of the
Easy-
season.
Look at this squad. Look how
Straight
many
into
injuries
camp
they've
all
got.
the time. Honestly, it's pointless. We got a point against Man City and beat Arsenal at the end of last season. Come on, it makes no difference.
Yeah, but Arsenal are crap.
I haven't said
I
we're going
wish
to
we
beat
were as
anyone.
crap
I
as
said
Arsenal,
2 more
mate.
points.
I really do.
2 more points. That's all we need. 2 draws.
All right, look, we've gone on for an hour and 40. I don't know where that's gone by. I don't really want to finish on a suicidal note almost. I was like, I don't know. What it's got something
Next is Man
positive.
City. What we got to look forward to, man.
Yeah, listen, I paid £52 today for a fucking ticket
Yeah,
to
same
watch us
here.
get hammered by Man City.
104
Am I-
quid
I
we've
mean-
just paid between us.
Is that
Why?
insanity?
Because
Or
we're
what?
gluttons.
It is,
We love
man.
Is it insanity? Why do we do it?
I don't know.
Because
So we can bitch about
remember,
it on the stream the next day.
I said we would beat Man City, so that's probably
Oh,
why.
okay. How many games have we won at home this season, by the way?
You can
Probably
count them
about
on one hand.
4 or 5, yeah. On
Or
one
to
hand.
put it
Five.
another way, how
Five.
much have I paid about £1,000 for? How many actual night
Yeah.
good days out?
You're paying about, and you're paying about 200 quid a point, is what you're doing right now, man.
Put it like that, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
There must be better things to be interested in.
Honestly,
surely.
honestly.
Should we say we haven't done this before, but lots of YouTubers do it. If you're watching this on repeat and you get to the end of the video, then
Why did you?
put a comment in the chat so we know you got
Put the word
and the
corruption
word
in the
word-
comments.
I was going to say exactly the same. The word of the day is corruption.
Yeah,
If you
let
got
us
to the
know.
end of the video, put corruption in the chat, not
Yeah,
the
if
live
you're-
chat, the comments.
If you're in the live chat now, be it on Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, chuck the word corruption in the chat. And if you're watching later, just put corruption in the comments. And yeah, and we'll finish off with I'm still saying, we'll beat Man City. I'm just tired.
Whatever
Yeah,
we do,
and
we're staying
you're
up.
right. You could have just bought my PC, man, for all the losses. Seriously,
Yeah, it would have probably been money better. Money well spent.
better spent. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys.
Something for it, yeah.
If you haven't already, please do hit that like button. I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. There's been a lot of fiery comments and everything. We'll be back with a daily video tomorrow, and then the preview for. Are we playing on Sunday?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think we'll
so-
still do the
yeah,
preview
yeah,
Friday
hardcore.
night.
Hardcore
I
Sunday, yeah.
think so. Yeah, this Friday. It'll be Friday night. Anyway, we'll let you know as we go. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thank you to the panelists. As always, they have been legendary. We will see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.
You read.
guys.
You Reds.
You read.
You're right.